Welcome to the Sistah Girls Book Club podcast. I'm your host, Cherie. Today we are talking about literary events. And who better to have this conversation with than some of the heavy hitters in the literary event space. First up, we have Miss Joslyn Marks. She is the founder of Indie Love, a boutique literary event launched in 2015 that celebrates African American literature and uplifts independent authors. Hey, Joss. Tamika is the founder and CEO of Black Girls Who Write, a community she launched in 2020 to amplify and support Black indie authors. She also produces literary events like The House Party by Alexandria House and manages social media for One Love Reunion by AC Author. And Miss Lauren Lacey is a romance author and the founder of Black Romance Book Fest, launching in 2025 to celebrate Black love, storytelling, and culture. Hello, ladies. How are
Hi.
you doing?
Hello.
Okay. So the ground rules for this conversation, I want listeners rather to know that this is going to just feel like when you pop into the group chat or you pop into the FaceTime, but you got to be on mute so you listen to your friends because you at work and you don't want to get caught. But you want to be involved on like the listening part, so you want to get the tea. So I want y'all to feel comfortable enough to just let your hair down like that, and also know that, like I said, listeners out there, this is one of those. This is a part of a series where I wanted to go behind like the literary spaces, the people that help to move the literary space forward, to move the culture forward, and also to kind of humanize us. Because you know of these bomb events, and you're like, how do they happen? And it's like so many dope Black women that if I tried to put everybody on this, on this interview right now, I have on this podcast episode, it would be too many, right? So I just wanted to bring this to like people's attention that there are people who are doing this work. And so the first question I have for y'all, and I'll go in the order of how I see you. So I've been seeing Josh first, and then I see Lauren, and then I see Tamika, and then I'll do the opposite, just so it won't be like so annoying. And then I'll answer the questions too, because I feel like we all have something to offer in the event space. So the first question is one, this will be for everybody. You can think about it. As it, how do you feel right now, your current state, just in general, as it pertains to the weather? So like if you feel sunny with a chance of rain, that'll be how you feel. But I want you to use the weather. So go ahead, Joss.
Oh, it is. It is sunny with a chance, because this is Georgia, some sprinkled of rain around here. So it's sunny right now. Yeah, it's sunny.
No, but remember, the weather is how you feel. So it's not
I feel
about the.
good.
Okay,
I feel sunny and good, and
okay,
light.
so good. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, with a
Lauren,
few little clouds here and there, but overall good.
gotcha.
I'm sunny with like a chance of like some hurricane tropical storms. I was off work this week and I got to go back to work next week. It's just been all smiles all week.
Tamika.
I feel like a mix of things. I feel like Florida. So it'd be sunny and then there's like thunder and then it rains and then it's sunny again and then it's cold. That's how I'm feeling.
Okay, and I feel, you know how like when you go outside, you know it's gonna rain, and then it like thunderstorms. That's exactly how I feel. I felt like I was prepared, and then boom, something like the weather said, prepare for severe thunderstorms, and I wasn't prepared. So okay, we at least got a good vibe going on. So, what inspired each of you to create a book event, and what personal experiences has helped you to create this event? Like, what was the personal thing that said, you know what, I want to do events? I'll go with Joss.
Um, when I started Indie Love in like 2015, the events were so expensive, and I just wanted to do something. It started off wanting to do something for Arthur, Nikki Michelle, and it just didn't come to fruition. So it came to fruition like several years later, where I just wanted to do something to bring readers and authors together, and I kind of paneled it off of my book club, the things that we do. And so I just reached out to Christina C. Jones and Love Belvin, and we just had some deep conversations. And they were new in the game per se, and it was like, if you were to be invited to an event, what would you want? And we just kind of, the three of us, just kind of put it together. Um, it was my brainchild, but I used a lot of their input in putting it together. But I just wanted it. And the first year was free
Oh
because I
wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, year one was free. I just wanted people to come. I wanted the authors to make some money, is what I
Mhm.
wanted. They did not have the backing of traditionally published authors have. And it's like, well, who's doing this for you? Nobody is doing this for you. So that was my thing. I wanted them to shine, and I wanted to bring awareness to them. So that was the catalyst for me.
Got
And plus,
it.
I'm an avid reader. So
Okay. Tamika?
My answer might be long-winded. um, I always was in the events like experiential marketing, social space. From when I moved out, especially when I moved out to LA from DC back in after I finished college in like 2013. So by then I was like doing these like large scale brunch events for NBA All-Star weekend and NFL for Super Bowl weekend and you know all types of different stuff. So I'm seeing a lot of like how to do stuff on like the brand marketing space and then also personally just having a love for events since I was a kid and just really running everything and being able to produce my own stuff. And so when I got into the author space around 2017 and underneath my own pen name, I had like my own launch event back in DC. And I was like, oh, this was fun. I want to do more of this, but I wanted to do it in a space that felt good of like I like to find stuff that no one else is doing and I was like no one's really like taking books and bringing them to life. Like the last thing I saw was like Harry Potter. So I'm like I want to be that go-to person where I can take books and make it into an experiential experience. And then I also wanted to be on the side where I was producing events that would help authors become better entrepreneurs and better business owners. And so that was the space I wanted to be in and not in the space of what everyone else was doing because I felt like everyone had their own lane and I like to look and see like, okay, what lane isn't being fulfilled that is a gap. And so it was just taking everything I learned from different spaces, legal, sports, entertainment, just everything and being able to really invest it into something else that I love was just literature and film.
I love that. Come on, Lauren.
Um, okay, by the way, I love what you just said about bringing books to life because that is so you and just all the visuals from House Party and Homecoming. It's just crazy. I love it. Anyway, um, I had started off as a reader, and so and then I transitioned into becoming an author, but like my space was really like the bookstagram area and bringing like having so many different connections with readers. And then I just had an idea one day with one of my really good friends that I met on bookstagram and was like, what if we bring all of our bookstagram folks and we bring them on from off online. And so they were like, girl, what are you talking about? I was like, let's do it. So I think like we were just very like social media focused and like bringing the readers together because it was just that big boom of book talk and bookstagram, and it's just like a really big community, and we wanted to kind of put everyone in one space. And so that's really how it began and how the idea came about. And we knew that we wanted to kind of just incorporate a lot of different authors and do it in it started off small scale, but do it in a way where everyone felt like they were seen and celebrated as we do online. So that's really how it came about.
I love that. And behind the pen, we were a book club. So Sister Girls Book Club, obviously. And I think the next natural thing from having a virtual book club was like, how can we meet in person? And so it was kind of like, let's just do this thing, but for New York, because I realized like all the book events were down south. I was like, how is that possible? And then all the ones that we had in New York were kind of like, it didn't have a vibe. It was just kind of like come one, come all, everything. But it wasn't just like if it was a black author, it was like, here goes one black author in a sea of like 20 authors. And it was just kind of like, okay, I'm here at this festival. It's very popular, but like it doesn't feel like me. I don't feel the essence of what it means to be like the East Coast girly, and that's why I was like, okay, I'm reading, but how can we meet these people in real life? Like, and does it have to look like this? Because this doesn't look it looked kind of boring. Like, where's the music? I mean, what's going on? Like, you know? And I had a background like Tamika in event planning and celebrity and music. And I'm like, I've been to many popping events. We can't do this for books. Like, we can't do this for the same, like, in that space. And so that kind of was like the birth child of it, even when thinking about the vibe. And so one thing I know that y'all all have in common that many people probably don't know is that y'all all publish authors, right? So whether you were from author to event planner or event planner to author, how has that experience been, like navigating both worlds and knowing that as an event planner, you are, you know, people want to come to you, like naturally they want, you get interest, and as an author it's kind of like you have to garner that interest. How has that been, like balancing that kind of like bouncy ball? I'll start with Lauren first.
Oh, that's a tough question. I think from the event planner side, oh, you always have to have your business hat on, like thinking about like how many people you can actually have, like what's the capacity, making sure that everyone is good, like not putting too much on yourself, having a good team around you. And so always keeping that balance, but then also from an author standpoint of thinking, how do you want authors to feel? Because it's often so time of like doing all these things for the readers, but making sure that the authors are comfortable. You know, a lot of them, they're really getting out of their comfort zone, you know, doing these events, making sure that they're good and not overwhelmed. And like Joss had said, like making sure that it's affordable for, you know, all around, because the table fees and everything, it adds up. So really making sure that both sides are taken care of by the event planner side, make sure you can make a profit, but then also making sure that the people that are really supporting you and they're all in and participating and signing books, making sure that they want to come back is also important.
Tamika.
I like to be able to put everything in buckets. My founder of Black Girls Who Write hat is one bucket. My event planner marketing hat, since we are about to launch a marketing agency, is another bucket. And then like me as an author is a different bucket. I like to compartmentalize so then I don't get overwhelmed by the many different things. Just like me as an author, I have a different inbox. Me as event planner, like the house party has a whole different inbox compared to like the Black Girls Who Write inbox, and then our marketing agency has a different inbox because I need everything to funnel in different spaces to keep me organized. And then me as the founder, like I have my own inbox, which I'm like, okay, what needs to be done today? And in order for me to stay organized, that works for me along with other tools like Notion, Asana, Slack with my team, and making sure that no matter if it's a Black Girls Who Write event or a Black Girls Who Write production, like something that we're producing, that it has its own thing, whether it's its own folder or its own inbox, so I can make sure that I'm keeping my clients happy, and then I'm also managing comms, because that, as an event planner, is the biggest thing that you have to deal with. You're dealing with so many different vendors, you're dealing with authors, you're dealing with, you know, vendors from like photographers to vendors who are selling products. So you want to make sure, like, one, you're managing comms, but two, you're also keeping people organized with some type of project management system and email updates. And then three, contracts. A lot of people who get into these spaces forget to give people contracts, and then that's when stuff, can I curse? No. Oh, that's when shit hits the fan. And so I always make sure that everybody has a contract, and my contracts are strict. Like, when I say strict, if someone that I'm paying a service for is more than 15, 30 minutes late from the time they were supposed to arrive, I deduct from their payment, because at the end of the day, it hurts the flow of the show. Mm-hmm. So organization is a really big thing for me, to make sure that everything else is
being the hair lady in the booking fee. Child, she said 15 minutes late, it'll be deducted. That's a major deduction. Just
Arthur is, and this is probably bad, to the back. It's to the back because I was doing events before I even, you know, thought about putting out a book. So my focus is always my authors, my readers, them having a good time, connecting the two. Whereas I get fussed at You don't have a table? No, I don't. How do you even have time to be hosting your event and have a table? It doesn't work for me. I had somebody else hosting my table one year, and Arthur, people were walking up to me with my book and like, here, sign this for me. And it's like, okay, but I'm trying to, I'm not narrating. I'm moderating this
The
panel
space.
right now. I can't, so it's Arthur's always to the back for me. It's all about working the room, making sure my authors are great. They'll tell you, I sneak up on them and be like, did you do good? How'd you do? You all right? You straight? That is my whole focus. And then life, mother, daughter, raising your parents is ghetto, especially when they're older and they don't want to listen. So that part, so I am, Indie Love can only be one time a year because I just can't do it. It's a lot of work. Doing these events is a lot of work. People don't realize that, but it's a lot of work. And my writing gets put on the back burner.
Got it. I understand that because it is a lot. Like you said, I do believe that it's a lot. Another thing that I had that each of you probably don't, I don't know if you've ever had to admit it or understood the assignment, because I know people like they put things on us, right? So being a leader in this space, people look to you for all the answers, right? You get the credit when things go right. It's like, oh my God, Lauren, you're so amazing. This is an amazing event. Tamika, this was amazing. Josh, this was great. And then you get the blame, right? As soon as something goes wrong, you get the blame. They don't see nobody else but you. So what are some things that you learned as a leader in this space that has helped you grow as a person? I'll start with Tamika.
Patience. I will definitely say patience, because sometimes you want to curse people out, but you can't. You have to be professional at all times. You have to communicate things a certain way. And then you also have to make sure you can think on your feet to diffuse situations in real time and really being good at that. And this, like I said, this goes back to comms and organization, because when something bad happens that somebody is paying for an experience and they're not getting what they pay for, they're not seeing that value, you have to communicate like, okay, let me check everything off. Because this happened to us at a house party where some of the VIPs felt like they were supposed to get more than what they got. And I'm like, well, technically you got everything you paid for. And then there's always a and more, because there's a possibility that you can always get more than what you paid for, but it's always an experience of a surprise. So then when people get upset of like, well, I paid for this, and it's like, are you looking at my budget sheet? Because technically that budget didn't come from this. But you can't say that to them. You have to say, well, okay, what's the problem? How can I fix this? Because now I got 3 other problems starting too. And you fix it and you move on. And some people are open to having feedback after events. I am not. My feedback, because at the end of the day, depending on what the feedback is, like if I'm producing something for the client, my feedback needs to come from the client, not from the guests. If I'm producing something for on behalf of Black Girls Who Write, then yes, the people who are attending the event, especially if it's like our retreat or something, then yes, I am inclined more to feedback. So it's just being open, and then also knowing as an experienced professional, like what you can ignore and then what you can talk to your team about and say like, okay, let me look at it from this perspective, but being open-minded overall.
Josh. I'll restate the question. I say, what are some things you have learned as a leader in the space that has helped you grow as a person?
You better have some tough skin, because in today's world with social media, they will get on and drag you from here to Timbuktu, regardless to how amazing everything went. There's going to always be somebody who has an issue with something. And like Tamika was saying, they don't realize the cost that goes into putting on an event. I don't care how big or how small it is, there is a cost. And for me, when I try to keep the cost low, I'm dipping in my own pocket. They don't, that don't matter. So when you say, if I sell a ticket for $25, but you getting a t-shirt, a tote bag, and the experience, and we run out of t-shirts, it's like, well, I paid for such and such. You really didn't. You really didn't pay for what you think you paid for. So you just gotta have tough skin. And I'm not one that's going like because I'm not gonna get on. I'm not responding. I'm not responding. You want me to respond, but I'm not responding because there's a Scorpio that lives here, and you want her to stay. You want her to stay way in the back. So just having tough skin and having um sounding boards. So my team is my sounding boards. You know what I'm saying? So we could talk all the trash we want behind the scenes. Fuss, cuss, do it all, get it all out. And then I'm moving on. Because people, no matter what you do, people are going to have an opinion. So just having some tough skin, basically. And then learning, not that you're not listening to what their complaint was or what their issue was, listening, taking notes. How can I do this better next time? Okay, we can adjust and learn how to pivot and change some things. So that's
Lauren, want me to restate the question again?
Yes.
Basically, what are some things that you've learned as a leader in this space that has helped you grow as a person?
Um, some Josh and Tamika said, for me, I take feedback, but I don't take foolishness. Like, you're not going to be disrespectful. You're not going to harass our team. Like, people are in our DMs all the time, fussing, complaining, saying they want tickets. And I don't respond. I check my emails, but I do not check my DMs. And that is something that I tell the team to do. Like, people will email us, I mean, like DM us personally, like on personal accounts, talking about the event. And like, I had to learn how to create that barrier and say, like, this is something that we're doing for a passion. Like, we're not doing this to get paid. And, we're not like, we have to be able to separate ourselves or it's just really going to stress us out. So that's definitely something that I learned. And then also mentorship, like for me, I think that's important. So being able to connect with other event organizers. I have two mentors that have been doing events for a while, like Vanessa Miller and Rhonda McKnight. They've been so helpful of just giving me a lot of insight and feedback when it comes to just improving from the operational standpoint and from the sponsorships. And they've been a godsend. And I'm like always like, I got a question, being able to also just learn and grow. I'm always open to just learning. I'm going to be the type of person to just email another organizer and say, "What y'all doing?" Like, because I'm like, I don't. The thing about Black Book events, I honestly feel like we put our all into what we do, and even more, in my opinion, than a lot of the other book events, white book events. But we're criticized even more. Our prices are lower. Like we're doing a whole lot. And so it can really be mentally and emotionally exhausting. Like, Josh, I don't see, like, you've been doing this for a long time and I'm on like year 2 and I'm like, oh, this is too much. And so taking space, yes, stepping back and taking space is something also that I learned to do as well, and finding my happy place that's with my family and with my bookish friends and just being centered and grounded.
I think that it's a lot that goes into it. And I think that I think you have to honor the space and knowing that what you do is sacred work. And I think that's helped me over this summer. I had to kind of really refocus, right? I had to refocus on everything because behind the pen, like this was the biggest event that we've had, like the biggest turnout. And it got the most feedback publicly. I'll say that because that'll be a conversation that we'll have in the coming questions. And I think that knowing once you put that leadership hat on, whether you like it or not, people are looking at you. How I respond now dictates how people respond back. So if I jump online and try to defend myself, or what I think I'm doing is helping, and it's like adding more fuel to the fire. So it's like knowing that however I respond, there's a group of people waiting to like rally behind me, good or bad. So I think that's been something I had to like work on or just acknowledge, right? So it's like it's not about like just being the first to try to defend yourself, because then it's like, oh well, now people can't say what they want to say and we don't have, and it's like, no, you can say what you want to say, but like this didn't happen that way. Like, you just want to scream, it didn't happen that way. This is why. Like, you want to defend it because it's like, that's not the whole story, or we didn't mean it that way. And it's like, no, I learned that sometimes you just got to calm down and allow people to have that moment, whatever they want that moment for, whether it's to get the grief out, whether to let people know how they felt, whether it's to let, for likes and clicks, but it's also to know that that's their space. I can't change their perceived, like I can't change their experience. Like, no matter what, you didn't have ketchup. Ketchup might have been there. It was there the whole time. I saw the ketchup, but for some reason you didn't see the ketchup and you didn't get it. That is your actual lived experience. I can't battle that because I can't win. So I think that's been what I've been learning over the summer. It's like, oh wow, I can't come at you like that because that really happened to you. No matter how much I meant a certain thing to go a certain way, that wasn't your experience. And I have to honor that. And it doesn't feel good because I know what I intended or what actually happened. And so I think even, and also too, to your point, Lauren, getting mentors and having that sounding board. I have a team, but also I have mentors that's in business that's not necessarily a part of the book world. And that can be very valuable because they don't care. Like they don't, we start like talking about authors. We want this person because we want, and they're like, girl, does it meet the bottom line? Does this do that? And does that do that? Like they start moving numbers and counting. You like, oh, I get it. And you need that. Honestly, you need people who can take the what, just what it is. This is what it is. I know what you want it to be, but this is in fact what it is. And how can you build from there? I know that everybody has feelings, but we can't finance those feelings at the moment the way you're trying to do it, because something will inevitably fail. It won't be sustainable, right? Whether it's your mental health or the actual business. And then, like you said, being around other people do events. Tamika, I'll be emailing Tamika like, girl, how does the media how the deck or next one, because we share just curation, and just like she's been a person to me, I feel like, who's been freely able to give that information and have that, dual, that space where we can have those conversations. So I think it is very important. I want to point
no, we need to get a t-shirt that says you can't finance feelings.
Yeah, you can't finance. I remember I was like, oh, you're right. You can't do that. And in the heart of it, you'll be like, we'll be like, oh, and everybody, you'll be in the red. And like, that's it. And so that was a lot because like I said, you always want to make sure everyone is comfortable. Like that's the goal, and making sure everybody has a good time. So this is going to Lauren, because I feel like, and then I think Tamika as well. Do you think there are systemic barriers that Black event planners face in securing sponsorships or resources compared to others in the industry?
Yes.
Can you expound? That was funny. Can you? I was like, yes.
Okay, I'll say it like year one for 2024, 2025, we didn't start securing sponsorships until we closed them out in March. We got no's up until January because it was a matter of we have to prove ourselves and prove our value before big publishers or big businesses wanted to invest in us. So we were solely funded by ticket sales and Black owned businesses. The good thing about being in larger cities is the affluent, Black population, Black businesses, and they were gung ho. And at the end of the day, that's who we rely on. And even for year two, we started getting sponsorship. They're coming to us saying, hey, we want to sponsor. And now we're in a positions where we can say, what do you want? Because this is what we're not going to do. This is what you can't do. You got to abide by this, because we are now at a point where we're like, we're not going to prove ourselves to you. For one, you should be investing in Black books and Black authors and Black readers. So it was hard at first. It really was. And I think too, that's where like the mentorship comes in and your peers, because we were able to really work and set our standards when it comes to sponsorships and what our hard no's and what our yeses were. And we had worked with, I think it was Vanessa Miller who did the National Black Book Festival, National Book Festival here in Atlanta. And she looked at our sponsorship deck and she said, oh no, you need to do this. You need to change this. You need to do this. And she was like, you need to talk to these people. And they were like, and tell them no. She said, do not accept any, like, if they want to give you ARCs, she was like, they got money. You need more than ARCs. And so I was like, okay.
I'll be telling you to raise your rates.
I'm still slowly going with the raise rates. We did raise them. But like that type of insight and that type of knowledge is like what we need, because when we set those standards, then they know how to come correct. And it's sponsorships has been a very interesting journey, but we're now where we want to be, and we're in a position to say, if you want to be seen, then you need to pay up.
That part. Tamika?
I have been on all sides of sponsorships for all different niches. And one, it's really hard to just pitch. Like, pitching is a sport. You got to be a shark. And if you don't have that energy to be a shark, don't do it. And, there are people who just gravitate and they get it, and that's cool. But being Black in this space, it's even harder now with this administration. I'm seeing how many brands, not just in the traditionally published space, that just don't have money, or budgets have been slashed, their D&I programs have been slashed. Talking to people in different industries like film, television, and different spaces, and they're experiencing the same things. Because at first I'm like, is it just me? Because I need some dollars, and I used to be able to get $30K in a blink of an eye. So now I'm like, okay, this is different, and trying to figure out and reshape the messaging so then you can get more buy-in power, because sometimes you have to be a little diplomatic to get what you want, and it sucks. But you also have to know like what's going on politically, where it's like, okay, I really want to work with this brand, but also they can't do X, Y, and Z. So how can we reshape things? And for our retreat for Black Girls Who Write, I can lean in more to like, okay, we're helping authors in general, instead of saying like we're helping underrepresented voices, which I hate because that sounds awful, like people don't got no money, and reshaping it to like, okay, well, they need this, they need bank accounts, they need to learn about AI, they need to do this. And so when I reshaped the messaging, it made it easier to get some more buy-in. But also I was with Lauren at the same time, like, I don't need to prove myself. And still to this day, I'm like, I don't need to prove myself to any of you guys, because I'm doing more than what you're doing at your own company with your authors. So let's start there with indie. So I don't prove myself at all. I'm like, here's the deck, here's the rates. You either going to pay it. We can come up with, a custom package that fits your budget. But other than that, no. And sometimes you just got to get creative and I tell people all the time, like, step out of the publishing space and you'll find more money.
And Joz, you have not done sponsorship. Am I correct? I'm like, am I correct with that? Because I remember that was and is that a conscious decision, or is it something that you're just waiting to step into, or do you want to keep like everything in-house? And why?
I want to keep everything in-house. Like Tamika was saying, if you ain't got that in you, I don't have that. And I don't even want to classify it as begging, but I just don't have that in me. I don't, I'm in a sorority and it's like, oh, we want you to be on the fundraising committee. No, you don't, because I ain't going to do it. I just like to keep it in-house.
Mm-hmm. I got
That's
you.
just a preference for me, though. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? I be watching. I'm like, dang, how they do that? How they do that? Oh, that would be nice. Oh, that could take this load off of my back. But I just have not stepped into that realm yet.
Have you thought of like hiring someone to do it?
I was say the same thing, like having somebody come in to do it.
I ain't got no money. What y'all talking about? You said this was a safe space. I ain't got no money.
I could see that being a potential.
I totally understand. I mean, I used to pitch for people who didn't have money, and I was like, hey, this is going to be the contract. I will help you pitch. I will try my best to secure you some dollars. Depending on how much I secure, I'll take 10%. I got somebody $30K, probably funded most of their event. And I was like, all right, I need my check, because I didn't charge you for the fee of doing this monthly for 6 to 8 months, but I was able to get you this amount of money, and now 10%. And 10% is low. People are charging 20. So at that point, that was on the low end. So you might be able to find someone that's willing to just, do it as a service as well.
I gotta
With
pray on that.
I
Here's
think
the one
also
thing.
if you're a D, if
even if it's not like, okay, I'm paying you, barter. I barter with people all the time.
Oh yeah,
I,
we've bartered. We've bartered our photographer. We've bartered in the past. CCJ hooked me up on that. So yeah, we bartered.
and if you ever just, I'm a DIYer and I also don't sleep. And I'm a spreadsheet girl. And so I literally have a list of like 600 Black owned businesses. And then I just like do a pitch email, just do a PowerPoint, a Google slide presentation deck, and I send it out. And that's how we funded BRBF last year. Like we were able to get the money there. Like, $500 here, 1,000 here, $3. Like that works wonders when we can get our like bulk swag bag stuff and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was like, let's just shoot our shot. The most they can say is no or our email.
Exactly.
I think most of the times when it comes like people are, I'm not saying this is you, Josh, but I'm saying people have like hesitancy is like they don't want their event to be changed by whatever it is because there are some, once you are independent, you have that I can do it all. Like I can say where if the step and repeat goes here, I can say what goes there. I'm just saying I'm not one of
No,
those.
I think you and I had that conversation years ago when you was like, Josh, do so, and I was like, I don't want them coming in telling me what to do.
Yeah. So I'm
Mm.
like that could
They
be.
don't though. They
I think
most
that could be the
I've
thing.
I've only worked with one brand in an aspect of a different space in the film space where they were the only brand, or that specific section of the brand was like kind of controlling. But most brands I've gotten sponsorship dollars from were very like hands off, like, okay, send the invoice. What are you going to do? Okay, cool. They could care less. And then I send the recap deck. Oh, this looks great. Talk to you next year when we got money. Like most times, like that's just adding extra work to their team. And they want to just be able to not have to do everything and just give you the money.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think that we've done anything yet besides have a board if they're sponsoring like a meet and greet, it's like sponsored by, or just have a logo and a thing. And so it actually, yeah, it's really they're very hands off.
Well, hopefully this might inspire you, Josh. We no pressure. So what am speaking of pressure, do you feel pressure to get it right because your event is directly tied into how authors can find readers and get their books to people who want their work? Like every year, for example, for me, I'd be like, okay, this might be the last Muhammad. This gonna be the one. This gonna be where we hang it up. This the Jersey hang it up season, right? Let's go with a bang. And then you be like, I mean, my team, they'll talk me off of it. I'm like, no, we've done all we can. The event, there's a lot of events now. Y'all are great. Y'all are good. And then the next year, somebody be like, I'm a new author. I would love to. And it's like, all right, let's hit the restart. But let's try to figure out, like, it's almost like I always tell people, it's like, well, I liken it to when people say they had a baby, and like I always say, how do you have a second one? They're like, we forget the pain. And I really feel like people, like after a while, you go so far out there, and you're like, oh, I forgot, like how, this could be. So, do you feel pressure to get it right because you know that okay, if an author is a new author, this can launch their career, this can get new eyes on their work, but at the same time, it's like this is a lot, like this is heavy. How do you feel that? And if you do feel that, how do you manage it? I'll start with Joss.
If I could count how many times I said I'm done. I'm over this. I'm not doing this anymore. And then, and not even new authors, but seasoned authors will say, I don't want to do any love. And you'd be like, oh, for real? Okay. We're only gonna do it one more year. We're gonna to look up and see that we've been doing this for 10 years was like, wow. Wow. Where'd the time go for one? Um oh, you just keep pushing, I guess. I mean, as long like you said, there's a lot of events out there, and that makes you do want to say, well, maybe our time, is up. But then when you do have those readers that say, I'm coming still, um, and authors that are interested and want you to continue, and then when your team, like you said, your team is like, we're not done. We got so much more to do. People are constantly, who couldn't come last year, are going to come this year. or um, people who couldn't get their tickets for Black Romance Book Fest all of a sudden was like, okay, well, I can go over here to Indie Love, and that don't bother me. Come on, the door is open. Come on. So I just, I don't even know how to answer that completely. It is what it is.
I think you answered it right. So the question again is, do you feel pressured to get it right because your
Absolutely.
events, how well your event does directly can tie into how well an author has done at the event financially, like finance wise.
I can honestly say, for the most part, every year,
Mm-hmm.
authors have sold out,
Mm-hmm.
and they tell me that they've sold out.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to say who, but one particular author, she didn't tell me. She told me personally, but she also did it on TikTok and said that she's gone to other events where she only sold 5 books, but every time she comes to Indie Love, she has sold out. And we're not talking about she brought 20 books. We're talking
Mm-hmm.
about she brought books. And
Mm-hmm.
then I have authors who, oh, I only brought so many, and it's like, I don't know why. Let me tell you. Let me tell you what these numbers are,
Mm-hmm.
and you're gonna need to be prepared, or you're gonna be sitting there twiddling your thumbs, and you got 2 hours to go.
Yeah, I got you. I'm gonna keep it going because I feel like you answered it well for everybody. um, I wanted to go to this because I feel like this year in particular, I don't think the event space was particularly special when this happened. I think that we just were a part of the events. Like the literary space, sorry, was particularly special to events being critiqued. But each of our events, Behind the Pen, Black Woman, like all of our events has been heavily critiqued, from the pricing, the location, the long lines, the list goes on and on. How do you handle the critics and know when to hold something and when to kind of let it go, when to know that it's a valid critique? Um, because that can affect your mental health. Like that affect also your, your company morale. Because I tell people it's just like going into a space where everybody is the boss and everybody's saying that you did a bad job at the same exact time. Like, you know what I mean? Everybody pointing your fingers and going like, you did a bad job, you did a bad job. And they're like able to like hear it from all sides. And while I say I think the lit space wasn't particularly special, was because I've seen like everything from Woman Evolved by Sarah Jakes. I was like, that's a whole holy event to like, different cookouts. Barb, it felt like every event this year was like, we gonna just hit it as hard as you can. So much so that I was like preparing early for Behind the Pen. I was like, whatever goes wrong naturally, just because you can't predict what's gonna happen, is human. I'm like, they're gonna drag us on. So I don't know what it's going to be. And I know people might be like, that's a negative. I'm like, no, it was like almost like a boom, 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 boom. And it was like you just waiting on your turn. So I was just like, dang, everybody's getting hit hard. So how do you like prepare mentally, like deal with that? And then also, like I said, know what to hold and what to let go, Lauren, because I feel like your event was the most, especially after the ticket sales, was one of those things where we've spoken, but I feel like you have like a very soft tone, and I'm like, when Lauren got to make a video now, it's bad. Like, you know what I mean? It's like that she got
Yeah.
to keep the camera on with the ring light.
I ain't never on camera either. I'll be like, I'll be telling the team, y'all got this. But yeah, I think I don't step in and say much. Only when our integrity and our intentionality is like being questioned.
Mm-hmm.
That to me hits a little harder than the complaints about this. But when people start saying, oh, it's a money grab, or oh, it's scam, or this happened, or that,
Mm-hmm.
these are things that are out of our control, but that doesn't have anything to do with the intention behind what we're doing.
Yeah.
And so I think that gets we're in social media. We're in a space where they have a lot of access to all of us. And, it's just a matter of protecting our peace and taking a step back. So that is why I'm not really online much. And I tell my team not to get online. The only ones, we have a few social media people, but I'm like, do your posts, engage with our folks, but don't engage in the negativity. Let's remember who those people are, because those same people that'll talk bad about us and complain and say some terrible things, they're still going to try to get tickets to attend the event. So, we try to keep note of everything, but, we just try not to, let it get to us, because the more we allow it to get to us, the more we become more discouraged about doing it, in the future. We're like, why am I doing all of this? And it just, they just are going hard at us when we're really putting our all into things. So just being able to separate, all of that negativity from the purpose and why we're doing it in the first place is something that we kind of keep mindful of. I told someone today, I said, I hope our registration system work next year. I don't know. I mean, we be trying. I mean, it's just some things that you cannot control. Like when I tell you we were working on that thing for weeks, but that happened year one too. Like it was just like crazy. And so we just have to learn to laugh. Like we were on the phone, all hands on deck, and we just try to make each other laugh in the midst of chaos and meltdowns.
I think, okay, Josh, you can go next.
Say the question again. I was
So the
listening to
question
Lauren and
is,
I was shaking my head like, yes. Even when you were talking, because I said the same thing. I got it. I said the same thing.
okay.
They dragged Sarah Jakes because she played boots on the ground. I was just like, are you serious right now? Y'all talking about bringing the youth into the church, but y'all mad because they played that. I don't care what. Somebody's going to have something to say. I can just share this one experience where I was told I pray. Sure, I was like, when we first talked, I was like, I asked the Lord, show me what to do. I'm a praying woman. I believe in God, so show me what to do, guide my steps. The rest, I don't, you know. But what I was told was somebody was outside, hadn't even come in and was talking trash. Hadn't even been in the door yet, and you talking trash. And it was like, what? But I didn't see, and at the end of the event, they always make me go out, take me out, get away. And by it being 3 days this year, my mind was on Sunday. After Friday night, my mind was on Saturday. And after Saturday, my mind was on Sunday. And so I really wasn't on social media, so I didn't see anything until Monday. And it was like, oh, well, thank you, Lord, because I didn't need all of that in my head for Sunday. Thank you. And then by Monday, I ain't care. We had celebrated 10 years. We had a ball. If you was there and then you got on social media and was talking trash, you lied because you sure was having a good time all of those 3 days. So I basically, and I have to tell, I have a small team, but I have to tell my supporters sometime, don't engage, let that go. Because no matter what you do, somebody is going to find fault in it. No matter what you do. House Party has lines. BRBF has lines. Behind the Pen has lines. Um, we had lines. We got dragged the lines. And I'm just like, but everybody has a line. What? I don't care where you go. You're going to stand in line to see who you want to see.
Mm-hmm.
It is what it is.
Tamika.
I'm gonna keep this.
I'm laughing because we talked about we had like I remember I was like, Tamika, how you doing over there? Are you and she was like, sure, how you doing over there? Are you still surviving? Yeah, I'm alive.
One thing that always is in the back of my mind is a lion is never concerned of the opinions of a sheep. Unless you are doing what I'm doing to my scale of execution and capabilities, I don't care. If you are not my client, because at the end of the day, my clients are who I need to make happy. My clients are who the pressure for me is with. Everyone else is like secondary. Like, when I'm running campaigns at work for influencers, I got a primary goal, I got a secondary goal. The primary goal is always going to be the client or the ticket, people who are purchasing tickets if it's a Black Girls Who Write event. But if it's like client based, it's the client. I really don't care what people say on social media, because unless I look at, if you send me your LinkedIn and it don't match up with mine, I don't care. So that's how I am. And that might be cocky, but I sleep well at night.
I think, Jesus, it's so hard. I am a praying woman, but I did know that it was going to be something. Like I said, I saw it coming. I was like, this is going to be something. And I think part of my job, even as an event space, is to like how to event curator is how to prepare even for those type of things. Because like I said, people, volunteers don't know where we stand at. They'll try to fight on your behalf because they're like, I was there. Readers, they're trying to fight on your behalf too because they're connected to you because we have people that become came to Bonapin from the first one, right? And they've seen it grown. Our biggest one of our biggest things this year was our line that went around 3 city blocks to get in. It was so many things that contributed to that line. That was the first time that had ever happened, right? That was the least. That was like if somebody could say, "What do you think could go wrong, or what do you think could become a problem?" List them all out. That would have not even made the list because it never happened like that. People
Mhm.
usually roll into the event, whether it's a it's always been sold out, but they don't come at the same time. This was the first time everybody came and said, "We're going to be here." At the same or came early. Some people were there 6 o'clock in the morning. Some like it was they got there before I did. So that should have been my first indicator, but it wasn't. I still was like, no, it'll be fine. And then once that happened, it was like we're trying to remedy the situation, but understanding that we didn't know. Like this is like, yeah, I had to sit with the fact that there are some things that we did not know that went wrong that we couldn't have anticipated and kind of not to beat myself up about it, right? It's something that we know now that can be like an issue, but on the time we had never had that happen. And I think in the beginning I was really hard on myself after, but in the moment I'm a comedian, so I was like, y'all going to drag my ass, so let's take a social media, like let's take a pic, so and tag us now. Let's get my good side when you say we ain't shit and you ain't coming back. Like get my good side, and and we offered water and ices to make it bearable, but it was just like the perfect storm because in New York we had a situation with a gunman, and so he ran up in one of the buildings. So now it was like security was extra tight. That had
Mm.
never happened before. So it was like now where something was like free flowing like water, it's like every dot, every T, y'all standing over us was trying to get this right because we don't want to like we want to be our own security if we can handle. We do not want anybody trying to implement security on Black women. So that
Mm.
was it was like I know how to talk to my like this is my people. Like y'all might be extra rough, extra loud. Like I don't need that. That's not what this is. And so it's like to remedy that part, we'll deal with it. But we only so many people at the registration line, right? You know what I mean? So it's like you don't know those things, but they're not low key. The readers are not supposed to know those things. They're not supposed to care or have that type of thing. So it's like I get it. They're like I'm outside and it's mad hot and it's long. It's like Cherie, do something, and I'm like, oh my god. But at the end of the day, it was like okay, we did our best because I know that everybody was watching us on the team. Everybody's looking at me. Sheree, how is she going to handle it? How are you going to like? They're looking to me for how to answer. The best thing I had was to try to make people have fun on the line. If you're going to say something bad, tag us. Like you know what I mean? Email us. You have the right to say what you want, but also know that I'm not gonna like try to defend this because it was a long line to get in. Like that's just the honest truth. And now I'm just like, how do we think of new ways to like remedy that part of it? I can't handle the author line because if that's your favorite author, you have to understand it's gonna be a lot of people's favorite author. Like we can't that's a line we can't remedy at that point. But
Yeah.
it's also one of those things is like because I saw it coming after behind the pen, I ain't going to internet. I was like, yeah, I'll save that for like next a few days later. Let me go out and like celebrate what we have done. And so even like as talking to y'all, hope that y'all know that y'all are major. Like this is not easy at all. Y'all have multi-day events. Like that's crazy, right? I do one day and I'm like, you know what? Get me up out the country. Like I need to get away and be on a beach after that. So to do multi-day events, it's like you have to know that it's not only empowering, but it's like other people are seeing it's like, yo, that's crazy. I want to do that. Like I want to be able to figure that out or do something like that to that magnitude.
I
Even with
tell
all things. Huh?
oh, I tell people start small first because you never know how much work goes into an event.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, if you don't have event experience, don't be trying to sit there and just launch something big. Start small and grow because
Mm-hmm.
the more you grow, the more you learn from everything. So it can be like 20, like our first retreat was 12 people. Then it grew to like 70.
Mm-hmm.
So and like same with the house party. The first house party during the pandemic was 75. Then we grew to like 150, 200. And then like this past one was over 300. So like, and I always tell Miss House, like, I don't want more than this amount of people because that means that's that many opportunities for people to be in this inbox and me having more questions to answer. No. So I commend Joss and Lauren for going beyond 300-400 people, because I'm like, cut it off at 350. I don't want to talk to these many people, and that's okay. But at the end of the day, like you said, Joss, like we all are going to have lines. It's just like, how do we mitigate it? We can't mitigate a line when it's
even when you try to mitigate it. So I knew I had everybody was a heavy hitter, but I knew I had LB in one. So I put them in four corners. Like Love and Christina, no, you cannot be together.
Yeah.
Love and Tamika, Love and Takira, no, you cannot be together. Love and KC or CCJ, no. So I put them in four corners, and it did not matter. Separating them, there was still the cross, the line, and then our space, and it. But the positive, I always try to find the positive. The positive was Takira was in this line. And then there was I'm just off top Sabrina, and then Stephanie Nicole Norris. While you're standing in line, you're gonna talk to Sabrina B. Skill. You're gonna talk to Takira. I mean to Stephanie. You're gonna talk to Jacinta, who's over here. You're gonna talk to Alexandra Warren, who's over here. So they got to filter off of everything else. You know what I'm saying? So while I'm standing in line waiting to get to Takira, oh, let me pick up Alex's book. Let me pick up Sabrina's book. So I always try to find the positive in the line. And like we said, people are gonna find a reason to try to drag this regardless.
I agree. I agree about those lines too. And that was like a number one thing. Oh, the lines are so long because we had Jacquel Kennedy, and like Brianne Dene and somebody over here in a corner. And then so this year we'll have two ballrooms. And we were on the phone with like one of our mentors, and they were like, lines are good.
Yeah, they
were like, they're still gonna stand in line. Everybody was having a good time. But she said lines get you money when they see the demand for these authors that people have been sleeping on. Lines, she was like, make sure everybody's safe and secure. But we want to see lines. They said wrap those lines around the corner and see how much money you get and how much support you get. And it was actually crazy because we had a lot of reels and a lot of videos of the lines. And a lot of the comments, they were like, lines were long, but we had a good time. Like, look at these lines. Like they were like, who are the authors? They're looking up and seeing who these authors are. They're like, oh, I need to go to that event. There's a nasty side when it's in real time where you're like, okay, we got to fix this problem. But then after the fact, and you're thinking about, whoa, like there's a line for a reason. And that's because they're standing and waiting for Black authors. And so, that positive that Josh was talking about, we were leaning into it heavy.
Yeah. We had a crazy line because we did like a giveaway of fans, and we had the way the venue was situated in Charlotte. The downstairs was for VIP entrance and the upstairs was for general admission. And these people wanted these fans, y'all. Like, it was crazy. So I'm like, wait, the doors don't open for another like 45 minutes to an hour. And it's like 90 degrees outside. I'm like, y'all are crazy. But I go outside because I was like, I'll help with the table because we were down a volunteer. And I was like, I'm going to let y'all know. And I'm yelling at everybody in the line. We're going to have a good time. We're not going to complain about lines because y'all chose to be sitting out here. These are your decisions for 45 minutes in the heat for a damn fan. So you can't get mad at nobody but yourself until we say the start time and doors open at 12 o'clock and you out here at 10 o'clock. That's a personal decision. And they was laughing and kikiing, but I'm like, I'm also reiterating structure, rules, and boundaries. You can't complain if you made that decision.
And I think for us, the line, Lauren, to your point, that was what I knew that was a thing. Like, that was a good thing. Because I remember I have a friend that does like crisis PR management. And I was like, this is about to be a situation. And she said, where's the video? A sister girl took a video because I wasn't on the line waiting. I mean, I wasn't taking video of the line or taking pictures of the line. And I was like, a sister girl DM'd her. She's like, you might want to keep this. And she had from the beginning of the line until the end. That's how I even knew it wrapped around 3 city blocks. And I sent it to her and she was like, Cherie, you just tapped into something that's like crazy. She's like, this is for Black literature. Like, let's be very clear. Like, this is not for whatever y'all. And I remember it was 2 ladies who came up to me after the video. She was like, what was I just saw a lot of black people, black women that were pretty. They look like they smell good. What was the line for? And I was like, Black literature is black art. They was like, oh my God, because we was gonna go stand in line, just wait and just say we was with them. And I think even the cops stopped at the line at one point. And like it was so funny because like Sister Girls was like, no, we ain't doing nothing bad. We here for black authors. Like it was a pride that they had. Like this is not nothing that you might think it is, or people were like, well, what are y'all online for? It's like they were happy to say this is for black literature. So like again, to your point, the line is horrible in real time. But like when you can think about it, like the lightness of it was like, this is for black literature, black storytelling. Like, people are willing to wait online, right? They're upset, but at the same time, it was like you weren't going to get off the line though, because you knew that it was at least something good at the end of it. Like you're not gonna be, it's not long suffering for us to be like, oh no, that is just a wrap. Like when you got up
Yeah.
there was still an experience to have. So one of my questions is like for Lauren, Black Romance Book Festival has been a hit out the gate, right? Y'all have only had one event and you have your events coming up. How has that been for you and your team? And then also, how do you plan on keeping it the destination for all things Black romance while keeping the essence of the event, right?
Yeah, it really grew organically. Like we wanted to start small. I would say small, but I remember I think I told you, Tamika, we said we were going to start off with like 500 or 600 people, and I feel like we just grew as the audience grew, and then we ended up our first event having like 1,600 people all together, and this was going to have 2,700 people, and so this is our peak. Like we have already said it. We're whenever we're talking about the 2026 event, we always or 2025, we always say last year, but it was literally like 5 months ago. And
Mm-hmm.
so we need a break. Our team has been going full steam ahead since April 2024. They had maybe about 2 weeks off. And so we're at a point now where we don't want to grow. We want to nurture, cultivate, and sustain. We're
Mm-hmm.
really trying to find a way to where we want to either bring it back and make it smaller or just make sure that we're fine tuning things for this amount of people that we're going to have. And
Yeah.
so I think too, with the many events that are happening in 2026 and maybe 2027, it's like how can we like consolidate and maybe partner with another
Mm-hmm.
event organizer and do something, because we also have to think about the readers are going to be stretched thin at some point with so many different book events and having to pay for flights and this economy and the way they're treating black women. It's not great right now. So we want to flow. We just want to flow with the way that the readers are feeling and with the economy. And we are just taking our time on figuring out what that looks like. But it's definitely not larger. I feel like this is really large. 2,700, primarily Black women together. I think it's going to be amazing. And I'm excited. But we also have bigger risks. We have a lot of contingency plans that we have to put in place. We have double the amount of people that we need to make sure are happy or happy enough. So, it's just a lot to consider. But I think in the future, our sole focus is sustaining and collaborating. That's huge for us, is collaborating with others so we can maybe have something twice a year to where we're not planning something on a large scale, or we're just, working with other event organizers and putting on something bigger together.
Got it. I love that. Joss, you have the oldest event out of all of us, right? And I'm saying that like it's impactful, right? So, what have been some positive changes and additions that you've seen in the event space, and what have been some things you're like, maybe we could do without that, if that's even, if you've seen that.
We used to say there's enough room at the table for everybody to
Hmm.
eat. You know what I mean? Like, I consider us boutique. We started off small. We thought we were starting off small year one. Like I said, year one was free and we were overwhelmed. Like, all
Hmm.
these people came all the way out here for this, and then we grew and grew and grew, and it was like, okay, we need to slow down. Like what Lauren was saying, it's like, okay, are we still meeting our goal? Are we still meeting the needs of the reader and the author? Because our goal is always to bring them together.
Hmm.
I used to say for the ultimate experience.
Hmm.
um there are so many events, and I'm just gonna be honest. I often wonder if when I say I want to pull back, I
Hmm.
don't want us to oversaturate the community. You know what I mean? Like Lauren was saying, people have to travel and the cost, and I be wanting to go to everything, and I can't afford to go to everything. You know what I'm saying? Like, ooh, child. I ain't gonna lie. I was in BRBF's thing twice, but I was on my way to New York that very same weekend. My niece is going to Pratt University, so it was like, you going to New York, girl? That's how, you got to pay for this, and I backed out twice, and I was like, mad about it. I ain't gonna lie, mad about it. But I think we just got to go with the flow. Like you said, this economy, we don't know what's getting ready to happen in the next, and this is only year one. In the next 3 years, we don't know what's getting ready to happen.
Mm.
As long as we each individual event is doing it for the right reason, they'll sustain and they'll survive. You know what I mean? I've heard the money grab thing. I don't think anybody is for a money grab. I think people think it's easier to do. They see it, they go, and they think it's an easy thing to do until they step that toe in it, and then it's like, ooh, this ain't what I thought it was. You know what I'm saying? But I just feel like as long as the motive is right, keep going, keep pushing. Did I answer?
I No, no, no. You were sufficient. I think just to your point, I also think that we did that. That was like one of the things that we did do. Behind the Pin is not every year. Behind the Pin is every other year. One, because we all have lives, we have jobs, we have accomplishments. Like Saida, she's in her doctoral program. Like these are like women with children and families, and you have to take that in consideration. And also mental health. Like even the last two times we did Behind the Pin, somebody in my family has passed away, like literally weeks before the event, 2 or 3 weeks before the event, or something has gotten this Behind the Pin. My sister was in the ICU like a couple of weeks, like, so I'm like, you never know what's going to happen, the joys or the lows, right? It could be something amazing that happens and puts you in that mood, and then there's also something now you have to power through. And so I think for us that was a decision, like to go every other year, because one, we need to see new authors and and when I say new authors, I don't mean like just came out. It can be that, but then also like people that we may have not paid attention to, we need to read it, right? That's the great thing about having a book club. Like we really read the authors that are at these events. And then also it's sustainability. Like how much can you sustain on your own plate? What are your own endeavors? Y'all are authors. I'm sure you have other things you're doing too. You're curators. You have other organizations. It's like I have to consider that as well. And then also, so when we did Behind the Pen, we started doing Behind the Pen. What is it called? Behind the Pen. It's like a smaller experience. We did it with Jacinta Howard when we launched it in Atlanta. It was just her and readers. It was like you didn't have to leave your city to go see Jacinta Howard. It was like, how can we tap into authors that are in that city? It was called the Intimate Experience. Thank you. I'm happy I remember that. And so that's what we're thinking too for like New York City. How can we pull the talent that's already here and like create smaller events? Because we are going to be doing this New York, like it's small events that need to happen. And then other places, like I said, where we can partner with, because at the Behind the Pen, that was in 2020 before the world shut down. Like we was about to go in and launch Behind the Pen, the regular event, and it had to get canceled. But right before that, we did something small with a Black-owned juice bar, and Jacinta Howard was the author, and it was free to come in. They just had to. We encouraged them to patronize the brand, so buy a smoothie, buy a shake, because on like a random Wednesday, it might not be a lot of foot traffic, but we gave them foot traffic. Just let your author come through. So that can be things that we can think about, that we're thinking about on the table right now within our own city. And we have we have DC, we have Maryland, we have so many spaces, Philly, Jersey, that's right in those areas that we need to pay attention to. And I feel that way about all the y'all events. Because again, the first thing on my docket was the economy. I'm like, yo, almost damn near 500,000 Black women lost their job. Like that was just, I mean, I know it's 350,000, but I like to be dramatic. 500,000, like, you know what I mean? 500,000 people. Like that is going to affect how people think about traveling. Like that is going to affect at the top of the year when all these other rules come into place, affects how people plan their money, their budget. This is a luxury experience. This is not something you need to live life. And so I'm thinking about that too when I think about pricing. And it is hard, but I think you are right, Josh. Like we'll get creative. Like, you know what I mean? We can do different things. And I think it's necessary. So I encourage y'all to keep going with the events, because I feel like when you see somebody stop something, low key it gives you like, damn, they stop. Like, you know what I like? So like now you feel like maybe
Stop every day.
yeah, but it's like it's also when I see you do an event, honestly, like it ignite it hypes me up, right? Because I'm like I'm like all right, this happened, this is coming. Like as much as I was scared about the pushback or like the negative things that people were saying online, I was also getting excited when I saw pictures coming out of y'all events and like people looking happy. I'm like, oh, we're gonna have pictures too. We're gonna have good moments too. We're gonna have hugs too. We're gonna have the good stuff too. So I don't want the people listening to be like, damn, they just depressed. No, it is great moments, and that
No,
was
but
next
can I
question. I
just,
was
can I just
yeah.
say there was an event that was here. I'm not gonna say what it was that was here in Atlanta every year, and it was a focus on urban.
Mhm.
And she stopped doing it, and it's like, dang, like
Yeah,
so
it
when you
makes
say,
you feel bad,
Yeah.
low key. It
yeah,
makes
it
you like
makes like, dang,
go
why did y'all? Yeah, because there's a group that loves the
Mhm.
urban and the street lit as
Yeah.
well. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
might not always have like I've never had street lit, but I've had urban at my event. So there, like when I said there's a room at the table for everybody to eat, so it I ain't gonna lie, it hurt my heart, and it's one of the events I would go to anyway just to support.
Mhm.
But like, dang, why you stop?
Yeah.
Don't. People have
Yeah.
their reasons for why they stop doing something,
Yeah.
whatever reason. But it does make you think like, dang, I don't want that to be us.
Mhm.
Yeah. And two, with each event, every event is so unique. Like
Mhm.
it's just something special about each event. Like we were talking to a content creator yesterday, and they were asking us, they were like, "Are y'all gonna have food?" I was like, "Well, we're in the hotel, so the hotel's gonna cater." They're like, "Well, at Alex's house, first of all, they are elevated. Okay, we are budget friendly with a bunch of folks. Every event is unique." I was
I
like, we could partner with them one day because they are fancy and got it going on. Just
Oh,
good.
mhm.
I fought Cherie because one of her peoples, which is one of my peoples, be in my inbox. I want you. I want you to do food. I want you to serve food. I want you, girl. We at a hotel. If we do that, we got to use their caterer, and
Mhm.
they're
Exactly.
gonna nickel and dime us to
And
Mhm.
get
not be good.
no, and it ain't gonna be good. Yeah, behind the bench. I said, I know. I know, girl.
That's
Yeah.
why I don't do hotel events because I always prioritize food. I'm
Yes.
like, if the food ain't
Yes.
good.
But like it's just like certain elements for every event. It's the way that it's curated, the themed experiences. Like you're gonna get something different with every time. And I
Mhm.
think, in my opinion, I think Black readers deserve that. And
Mhm.
so I agree with how it really hurts that like a lot of the events they'll bow out after a year, 2 years, 3, or even 10 or 15 because it's needed in this space. Like we
Mhm.
went from really having Josh and a few other events to a lot of events now, and I really hope that they sustain and maintain. It's like we're always rooting for them so it can be more, because being at those other events as an author
Mhm.
and feeling like you're just invisible, you got readers
Mhm.
walking by you and it's just it's 5 out of 50. Like that's unacceptable. Like we're not doing that in 2020s anymore.
Yeah, I do think it's definitely a vibe. I've been to Indie Love before, and I've been to other book events like that weren't like catering to Black authors, and you see the difference. You feel like it's a genuine instant feel of like, dang. So ain't nobody gonna say hey sis, ain't nobody gonna say oh hey polka dot. Like nobody gonna say like it's gonna be very like all right, y'all strict around here. Like you know what I mean. And I think even speaking to your point about being a unique experience, I wanted to know from your own personal experience, what is the vibe like? Like if somebody said, what is the vibe of Indie Love? What is the vibe of, the whole the event? What do you think that is if you had to sum it up in your opinion? I'll let Josh go first because I said Indie Love.
They be. I'm an educator. I promise you, I am. Um, it's been dubbed the family reunion. Like so many people have over the 10 years have formed friendships and bonds that now it's oh we get together. We rent Airbnb and we party beforehand and we party afterhand and it's a family reunion now. The vibe is just different. And sometimes I do stand back and I just watch and it's like aside from the small bit of negativity, people are like you said laughing, having a good time. um that's what I thrive off of. Did you have a good time? Even if you're walking out, you might have, if you scowling because you stood in line, but you got a bag of books, baby. You just got your book signed by all of these people and you had a great, you can't say you didn't have a good time. You can't.
I love that.
Tamika.
Um, y'all know I like to compartmentalize. So on the Black Women's right side for like our retreats or intimate events, because we're coming up with an event in November. I am black and bougie. If anybody knows me like it's their open bar. Is there going to be food? Those are two main things that I'm like there that will be there. And then also just giving an elevated experience and just taking what I've learned from so many different experiences that I've been a part of, like, you know, Essence Fest and small influencer dinners, doing all that stuff is the side that I am experiencing curating. And then like for my clients, specifically for Alexandria House, and knowing her readers, they are black and bougie too, and she is Miss Queen Bougie. Sometimes she out bougies me, and I'm like, oh, excuse me. And just also knowing in the nighttime events, I'm always like, how am I going to outbeat myself? Because this year they left with free vibrators, and I'm like, what am I going to do in 2027? You know, it's just like I really be feeling like Beyonce, like, damn, I gotta outdo myself. So I just that's what brings me joy. And then just seeing like how people feel. And then also like from the author perspective, when we're helping authors, seeing them come back and say, like, what I learned at this retreat helped me generate X, Y, and Z money from learning how to do paid ads or fixing my brand, which helped me create a whole new audience. That's what keeps me going. So I ignore the noise. Burnt out, but I keep going.
Lauren.
I would say I would sum it up as like a melanated celebration. That's why we always say whether melanated or celebrated, it feels like Black joy. It is Black joy. I think that, we prioritize smiles and fun and culture as well. Just, being unapologetic. Like this is a space for Black folks. And so making sure that that's at the center. So if you're going to come in this space and not be and not be, who we are, then you need to get gone. And so, we just really prioritize that and being seen and celebrated.
And I think for us, our event Loki is for the East Coast girlies. Like you supposed to come and know that you're in a space that is very New York. It's very like rooftop. It's giving. I think the after the very first event, I had to really, and hopefully this might help you guys. I'm very detail oriented. Like they say, the devil's in the details. So whatever budget I got, whether it's having mimosa bars and having cupcakes and ices and all that, I want you to feel seen and heard. Like I'm curating a space because you're a Black woman. Like I know all that it took that for you to get here. I don't know who died in your family. I don't know what it took for you to get here today. So it's like the least I can do is like make you feel like we want you in a space. And I remember after the first event, somebody pulled me to the side and was like, "Yo," she didn't say "yo." She was just like, "This was my first event coming here after I got out of a domestic violence situation, so she wasn't going out at all." And so this was like, and she came by herself, and she just pulled me to the side and she said she was like, "This was really like a big deal for me." And it was like I had been just talking to her because I'm gonna chat, like I'm gonna talk. And so it changed the way I viewed, like in that moment, you don't know, like you have no idea. And it's like, you don't have to know people's story to give them that level of decency and have that level of like that luxe experience or that friendly experience, because it doesn't matter. I see you. Like I remember the balloons. They kept on saying, "Put SGBC, Sister Girls Book Club." I was like, "No, put Hey Sis." Like they was like, "Cherie." And for some reason, everybody loves taking pictures about those balloons because I'm like, that's how I want you to feel. Like we're saying, "Hey Sis," and it's multi-generational. I have seen women that have been younger than me, college age girls, come into the event. My age, I'm in my 30s, and then I have 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s. I'm just like, you see all the Black women and like they feel seen. You hear the yelling, like, "Girl, look at your hair." You hear that from screens back and forth. You like see people Black women deserve joy. Like, and you can see joy rising when they meet their favorite author, or like they get timid, like, "It's her." And so it's like that's the joy that we want to, like, you deserve it, especially in this current, So the vibe is like, come on, come on. I don't care who you are, how you identify as, what you believe in. Like, this is for you. And I'm about to end this, but what do you hope for like the literary space and even your event? And what do you hope to like the next 6 years? Do you want to keep doing events? Is it something that is like, I remember what Issa Rae said, Insecure was never supposed to go past 5 seasons. Like that, it was always going to end in 5 seasons. So is this is something like is a continuation that has no end date, or is it something that's like, I mean, Josh, you just hit a decade, right? That's a lot. That's time in the game. You know what I mean? And you've been one of those, you've been the pioneer. Like you've no matter what anybody can say, good, bad, or indifferent, it was like you were here when nobody else was here. You made space for us. Like, you know what I mean? Whether we have those personal relationships or not, we gotta, you are OG like that. You gotta give your credit. And so I'm just like, what do you hope and what do you see? And are you gonna, is it something that you're gonna keep doing until you can't do it no more? Or is it something that's like, okay, maybe by year 20, you're gonna bow out, or year 15, or however it works itself out?
Considering I never thought we would, Indie Love was supposed to be 1 year. It was supposed to be just that one thing. One time I wanted to do something. So right now tomorrow I might say, hell, this is shit. Let me give everybody money back. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cuss. Let me give everybody money back right now. Tomorrow I might say that. Right now there is no end date for me right now. As long as people want it, we'll continue to do it. Even if that is like Lauren was saying, partnering with somebody. I've never told her this. I would love to have CCJ bring back Girl Have You Met, and let's
Same.
partner together. I would love for I haven't jumped, she's got so much going on right now. You know, I got direct contact. I haven't put that out there to her yet, but I would love for us because it makes a difference when it's somebody that you know and you've worked with and you have a bond with them and you kind of have the same goals, you know what I mean? So it makes it a little bit easier. So you think. But I would love to, if I was to ever partner, not that I wouldn't partner with anybody else. I'm just saying that's my goal, vision, fantasy, hope, I guess. I don't know how you would want to say it. But there is no end date right now. As long as the readers and the authors want to continue to come and support Indie Love, um, I'm there for it.
I love
Tamika.
that. For me, I just be taking a day at a time, child. But for me, like I love really working with authors who just kind of let me just have fun. When I have fun, I don't feel stressed. So being able to craft experiences from their stories, because then I get to like sit and read or reread something, it brings me so much joy because then I'm like, oh, let's do this, let's do that. And sometimes they'll be like, who's paying for this? And I'm like, we're gonna figure it out, girl. We're gonna figure it out. But being able to see like, wow, like you took and found all these little details of my little book and brought this to life, like they get so excited, and then the readers get excited when I like make it theme based. And I do have some authors on my list. Like I told CCJ, I was like, I would love to work with you, and bringing all of your books to life. Who gonna pay for it, we don't know, but she's definitely on my list of someone who I also would love to work with. And then I've been in conversation with a few publishing houses who've just seen what I've been doing for past couple of years, and they're like, okay, like how can we do more of this? And I really want to like take the experiences out of the bookstore and bring it to life. Like, yes, bookstores are definitely important, especially Black owned bookstores. We should always be supporting, but I also want to make sure that people are also experiencing what they're reading, because that also gives you a longer lasting effect of like, hey, I got this book, but I also got to experience this book. And that's something that a lot of people aren't doing. And then on the Black Girls Who Write standpoint for, like our retreats, our summits and stuff like that, like being able to be the educator in a space where everybody's like, read my book, read my book. And I'm like, I want you to I want to help you sell more books. I want to help you be a brand, be that CCJ or Kennedy Ryan or Alexandria House. I want to help build you into a household staple to where you're generating more than just book sales, but also you have a brand identity. You can do your own books. You can do X, Y, and Z. And that is what my goal is, and to keep pushing forward.
Lauren.
Um, I think our focus right now, aside from events, is really expanding our brand. We have our nonprofit and then we have our BRBF LLC. So our nonprofit is solely event based, and then our LLC, that's where we do our HBCU scholarships.
Mhm.
And really just leaning into the community engagement aspect is something that's really important for us within the city and outskirts. So we have our HBCU scholarships, and then we're also branching out into the book tour space and just connecting. We realized that we have a really big reader audience,
Mhm.
and we were like, we got a lot of readers, and they follow us, and just our subscriber with our emails. Is how can we use this in a way where we just amplify the visibility of Black authors outside of event season. And so making sure that we're connecting those readers with authors is something that we're excited about with just launching those opportunities. So that's going to be a new venture for us. So we're always thinking about the authors at the forefront and just making sure that they're good and they're seen.
Yeah, and I think for us, it is going to be a little bit of a different revamp because Sistah Girls, I wanted to make sure people understand who it's for, and also how's a nice way to say, like, to bring the to elevate the experience even more and to partner with, like, our goal is to make sure if you're here for a whole day that you have other things to do, other activations to do alongside of just having like a reader experience. So if there's an author chat that you want to have coming up, you could do that, or you can go take this course that's being taught by, at the same exact time. You know what I mean? It gives that level of shift of storytelling. Like, we want to amplify storytelling, and we want to amplify your experience when you're with us for the day. What does that look like as a Black woman? Encompass all that you are, but reading is will be the focus, and authors will be the focus, but it will encompass everything else that Black women might be interested in. And of course, having small events, because New York City, when it comes to children, we need them to get reading, and that's and then also half of the country doesn't read, right? What does that even look like? And I feel like we have a unique opportunity because we look like what we're trying to what we're trying to reach, right? So whether you're at the Schomburg or you're sitting in your house, we have an opportunity to connect with you in a way that you might not have had that bridge, like where the bridge is over troubled water. You feel represented and you feel understood and heard when we speak to you, however you speak, however you dress, however you look. I'm open and available. So that's something that we're interested in doing. And of course, now partnering with, it's a lot of Black owned bookstores and Black owned businesses here. They're small, like Bed-Stuy and Brook, like, let's do something. Like, y'all got candle making spots, y'all got artsy spots. Let's go up in there and have author chats and do like promote at the same time. And that, like I said, when we launched the intimate experience, having Jacinta Howard in a juice bar, like that was something that we thought of it because a juice bar reached out to us, like, oh, they thought we were based in Atlanta. I was like, no. And I was like, oh, we can work with this. Like let's work with this. So that's kind of what I want to do, is like bring more Black owned businesses in, and then work with them in a way, in Black owned whatever it is. And of course we are traditional authors and indie authors, and expand into that, because even with the podcast, most of the people we interview, they are traditionally published, and we have indie, so in different genres, right? I think that is the beautiful thing about our book club, is not a genre focus. We do have obviously romance, who's like, that's the number one stunner, but you know what I mean, it's not all, so that's the hopefully I answered that. I made the question. I'm still sitting up here like, girl,
Oh,
what?
you did.
Where we going again? And then we have Sistah Girls Academy. So like that's another thing. We definitely want to implement bringing master classes back to the space. Like, have intertwining that as a part of something with our event too. Because like I said, people want it, but they don't want to have to pay an arm and a leg. I overly understand that. I overstand that. And then hopefully partnering with people. We became an island by accident, because it was like when we used to reach out to people when we first, people was like, nah, we don't want to deal with them. So I was like, you know what? We don't got to mess with nobody. Like, we'll do it all ourselves. And then I felt like, then I started opening up a little bit more, just having conversation. I feel like that's how me and Tamika got connected. We just had one conversation and it was like, oh, we locked in. And I feel like that's what it is too. It's like not being afraid to have those conversations, not being afraid to say, Lauren, hey, yeah, about that sponsorship. Like, how did you get them to say yes? I've been trying for 3 months. Like, what? And not being afraid. I think that's another thing. I feel like people are afraid to get shut down, but also knowing that, like, I feel like Josh said, everybody, it's a seat for everyone. Like we represent, even just sitting here. Totally, I'm in New York, y'all in Atlanta. Are you in Cali?
Yeah,
Tamika?
I'm back in LA. I'm home.
And so I'm like, we in different time zones at this point, and it's like we can help each other out and don't feel like it's so much pressure. Or even give each other pep talks, like keep going. I try to make it my point when y'all have events to kind of reach out and like congratulate y'all. Lauren, this is now you'll be added to the roster of me just like hitting y'all up because I'm like, it matters. It really does matter to like people to know like, yo, I see you and I know what it took for you to get. I know it was like you was crying at one point, like girl, or even like our first event. We did that out of pocket. That was a straight red. It was like you ain't making no money, and in fact, you gonna go into your pockets and dig deep.
First
And it was
the hardest.
yeah, it was like what? And I'm like, y'all.
I'm still paying for that first event.
I was still in school. I was using refund money to pay for the first. I said the first year was free.
We is in trouble, y'all. How we coming back? We owe people money. How that work? And I was just like, and I remember people like but the reception of it was so hyped. They were like, "No, we love you. Got to like bring it back. Can you cut us a check? So we out here struggling. Like you didn't know, but then it was like, okay, let's do it. I guess we can, And I know how that feels, like that pressure. So I'm like, if I could just send a text and be like, congratulations on your event. I see you, sis, out here. Like it matters. I do believe that it matters. And it also sets up that open door to have those conversations, those bigger conversations about sponsorship or who's security, what flyer, what vendor, like, that you use. And lastly, I'll just close with, what do you hope that people leave with? Like when it comes to all this, like, no, not before. This is not the last question. This question is the most important question. No, and then we're gonna go to the last question. I know I'm gonna get y'all out of here, but this is very important because I've been thinking of this myself and I don't have an answer yet. Like I feel like Black events and Black spaces are under attack right now. I'm talking about like 911 emergency. Like I feel like they've been targeted, and I feel like it's just a matter of time before Black book spaces are going to be like a thing of like, let's go and like roll up to them and just be like, well, why can't we, like, you know what I mean? It's like that level of like agitation. And we have public events, we have public followings, we have our addresses to these events, where you come from, where you're going to be congregated at, or where people are going to go. Have y'all thought about that? And then if so, like, what do you think? Like, what have you been thinking about?
I can go first.
Mm-hmm.
I lost a few sponsorship opportunities because we had Black girls in our name.
Mm-hmm.
That was eye-opening. And I was like, are y'all kidding me right now?
Mm-hmm.
But I just, I don't sit on it too long. I'm just like, okay, it is what it is. Like, I got to find people who want to support what we're doing. Like, the name is the name, but at the end of the day, like it comes down to the cause, what we're doing in community. And I'm always advocating for the community to these brands, these large scale businesses, like trying to show like why they should buy in and being able to coach that. And it's so disheartening to see Black owned events being targeted or businesses, because at the end of the day, Black people, specifically Black women, are the ones who are generating the economy, if we want to keep it a buck. And I remind these brands every day. You think about the most brand you could think of, and I be in their face like, well, statistically, we have the best spending power. Now, it also, in different spaces, I see us attacking each other, not us, but you know what I mean? Like Black women attacking Black women, for taking a deal or being in a deal that is just like, I couldn't get out of this, or I was going to be bankrupt. And just sometimes it's trying to educate people. And like, sometimes there's other conversations going on behind doors that you don't know. You don't know what's in the contract. You don't know the conversations. And sometimes is the only choice you have. And it's either you're going to support or you're not and let it go. But one thing I hate seeing is Black women harping up on Black women, because we all we got at the end of the day. And that's me being a sorority, having amazing group of friends, having a strong community in the space. I hate seeing that.
Anybody else? I'm not making y'all answer, but y'all can answer or not answer, because you might not have an answer. Well, I'm gonna take that as you.
It was on point, and I'm going to also get into this. There's a sense of entitlement nowadays, too, for a lot of people, to where they feel like they should get this, and they feel like they deserve this, or they feel like they're now event planners, and they feel like, this is their thing, which is great that they feel so connected to everything that we're doing, but they're not in it, and no one's entitled to receive anything, above what we laid out of what they're getting and what they paid for. And so I think setting those expectations for people and reminding them, hey, this is something that we don't have to do. And when it stops, because you stop supporting or you want to disparage it, then you're going to be left going to the same book events that you went to 15, 20 years ago when you didn't see yourself in those pages. And so, there's just a lot that's being put into it. And I think that Black readers, Black event organizers, we really have to put in perspective that there's a lot of outside forces that try to influence us to go against ourselves. And we got to just stick with it and continue supporting each other.
Goes back to my quote: lion doesn't be thinking about the sheep.
Joss, do you have anything to add? She's like, I got you. You got it.
I'm good. Y'all said what I needed to.
I mean, yeah, you have
some topics. Y'all really, I had not thought about it because, like I said, I don't. Lord, work this out. That might be naive on my part, but seriously, that's how Lord, work this out. I can't. I'll make myself crazy stressing about the ifs, the what ifs, even in my personal life, I try not to, it's I got enough going on without all the extra added, stuff. Like I said, raising elders is ghetto.
Yeah. And I always say, like, you don't have to have the answer right now. And I think that's what I had to, like I said, over the summer, really kind of settle with. Like, it doesn't have to be a yes or no. It can just be like, well, as we go, we'll know, and we'll, So last question is, how can people be down? And what do you hope that this literary space does moving forward? Like, if you could say, yo, in 10 years, I want it to be this for either yourself or just the space in general. I'll give y'all like a 2-second.
I can go. I'm more you be around me, I be yapping. Yeah. Sharita. I'm in the space of like, I'm catering to readers when I'm working with clients because they're the authors, or I'm catering to authors. And I don't think people realize how hard it is to get buy-in from authors to pay for anything, for events, for branding, for stuff that is like, you need this. Like, you're a business, you're a marketing professional. Like, yes, you're writing the book, but you still have to market the book, advertise the book, you have to be present. You got to sell. And that has been like the hardest thing that me and my team have been trying to do. So like, I've been able to do case studies with different people to be like, okay, here is my work. This is my portfolio. And this is why what I'm trying to present to you is working. So just trying to get authors, specifically like Black authors, to understand like, it takes money to make money, and you should invest in your craft. And one thing I always will repeat on Black Girls Who Write is everything is a write-off. So during tax time. So it's just like, I want people to invest in their craft. And something I said earlier today to someone else was, always be willing to be a student. Don't always think you know it all, because you eventually plateau. And I want just the whole space to just be, yes, it's fun, but also let's be more kind to each other. Let's give people more grace. We don't know what's going on in people's private lives. We don't know what their daily schedules are. And like what Lauren said, don't feel entitled, because at the end of the day, Black Girls Who Write, Black Romance Book Fest, Sistah Girls Book Club, Indie Love, like, we don't have to do this. I know me personally, I don't make money off of Black Girls Who Write. This is a personal sacrifice. So we do this because we love it. We love the community. We have the passion for it. And I want to help 10,000 plus Black women thrive in their space and
Mhm.
become better entrepreneurs and become better businesses.
Yeah. Does anybody else have anything to add? There's no pressure. Okay. I do want to say that I think that, yes, to add on what you said, I think that I just want us to see us elevate and go ascend as far as we can. Like there's so many directions where you could go into, whether it's going into movies and film, turning books to film. I mean, Reese Witherspoon, she's the perfect like she like literally took that and like said, "Oh, I can do this with these books." And however you want it to go big or not, because I think that the impact is being made no matter how many people is in the space. I don't think
Mhm.
the impact is tickets sold, even though that covers the overhead. It's still like the people have formed friendships from these events. People have, like I said, come out to these events by themselves. People don't go to nothing by themselves sometimes. And like this was the first time, like everybody asks, that's the number one question. Can I come to this by myself? Because I don't have friends who like into reading, but da, da, da. And then they leave out with a whole gang. So it's
Yes.
like, yeah, I just want y'all to know, like in closing, I know people are listening in, but I told you it's like a group chat that you got on mute because you can't let nobody else hear. I want y'all to be encouraged. Like I know y'all have teams and everything else, but it's like it's I did not grow up with my mother going to events. Everything was either a family event, church. It wasn't like I felt like she did anything a lot of times for herself. Like okay, she's going to this. And I just feel like so many Black women in our time are now doing things for themselves. And to say that reading is a part of it, like that's the thing. Like these women are excited. They're going to new cities for the first time. It was so many people that was the first time they came to New York City. It was so many times people like, oh, I've never been to Atlanta. I've never been here. What to eat? What to do? You become like a whole tour guide. I'm like, I just became your little sister girl tour guide, didn't I? And it's like you're giving them their first experiences of things. So one woman said it was her first time coming on a plane, like it because she had a fear of flying. So it was so many things that you don't get just from talking to people in the in the space. And so I just want y'all to feel empowered, encouraged to know that y'all are doing the Lord's work and that we are Black women. So it's like we will rise, and just to know that y'all are necessary in this space, right? Because like I said, y'all motivate me. When I see those pictures, I'm like, we gonna have our pictures soon, y'all. We gonna have some pictures, and you can see joy. Like you can see the joy. Y'all, we tired, hair be looking like this at the end, but people are joyful. So let people know where they can follow y'all. Y'all are authors too, so promote whatever you want to promote. I'll start with Josh, and that'll be the way. That's the last thing. Go ahead, Josh. Promote your books, the events. Where can they get follow Indie Love, all that?
Indie Love, INDIELOVEE.com has all the information for Nashville. You know, every couple of years, I feel like we need to go somewhere. We need to, get out the city. So we're gonna be in Nashville next year. I am working on my next project. Hopefully, it'll be out in November. It's due to my editor tonight. That ain't gonna happen. Um, my audiobook was supposed to come out, but they pushed it back to February. So just, that's that
It's
part.
coming.
That
It's
part. It's
coming.
coming. As my friend said, what is it? Delayed is not denied. So it'll
And
be
it's
out.
and it's like Black Love Month too with Black History Month, so people want to read
Yeah,
more.
that's how they tried to sell it. That's how they tried to sell it. It was like, we gonna push it back to February. It's what's going on. I was excited. It was coming out in November, days before my birthday. I was excited. And I got that email and was like, what? And that's how they started selling it. So you could promote it towards Valentine's Day. Okay, y'all. Whatever. But that's how you can find Indie Love. My books are attached to Indie Love on a different page on the website. So, and we're on Instagram. We are on Facebook, of course, and we're on TikTok. But we don't do a whole lot of TikToking, but we're there.
All right. Let me ask Lauren because Lauren got the lights going on. She said, "You know what? Y'all got me at past my bedtime."
Listen, I'm texting my family. It's like seven of us that live in my house. We got too many kids. We had a little too much fun. But I said I need somebody to bring me a charger ASAP.
Where
Everything's
can people
staying
keep
tonight.
up with you? Where can people keep up with you? And you're an author too. You just got a new deal. Like, well, tell us what you want us to know.
Yes, you can definitely follow Black Romance Book Fest on Instagram and Facebook. We're primarily on Instagram. We're sometimes on TikTok. But yeah, follow us there. And you can follow me, the Lauren Lacey. I have a book coming out soon. I don't know when. I'm trying. I'm getting it together now. But My next book will be out, I think, in January, and then the books. I have a 3-book deal that I just signed with Black Odyssey, so they'll be re-releasing. They'll be re-releasing my latest release from the top of this year, the Love Syllabus, in the fall, and then I have 2 other books that'll be releasing with them in 2027.
Tamika.
Ooh,
Tamika be
this is
like,
gonna be
Tamika.
long. But
How about you say, get the Lauren? If you need the charge, if you go out, you go away. We know that you love us.
you can find Black Girls Who Write across all social platforms: Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Threads, Blue Sky, Twitter, all the things. We're on blackgirlswhowrite.com. We are launching the Lit Suite, our marketing agency, next week. So you will be able to get graphic design services, book cover design services, event production, PR, everything you could think of marketing related. We got you, social media management, all that stuff. I have an amazing team behind this. We also have Black Girls Who Edit. That is our editorial agency. So developmental editing, line editing, proofreading, and also copywriting. And ghostwriting. We can do all of those services. The next house party is in 2027 in Vegas. The house party cruise is next April. I don't remember everywhere we're going, but it's Virgin Voyages, so no damn kids. Love that for us. Goodness, there's so many things. The house party, A Night with Alexandria house party dinner series is next summer. DC, New York, Houston, LA, maybe DC if they act right. And the next Black Girls Who Write event is the It's Lit Literary Awards. It's going to be in Atlanta in November. So invites for that is going out by tomorrow. But if you're going to see this later, you probably already got your invite. But don't know what we're doing in 2026, but stay tuned and join our newsletter.
Well, thank you all for joining me. Sister Girls listening, I feel like they walked away with a lot. And I feel like this was a great way to let people know like who are all the girls and the ladies and the people behind this event. So thank y'all so much. I appreciate y'all. I know we were on like Drink Champs time with the length of this, but I appreciate y'all for staying here because I know I wanted to get it all out. But thank you so much.
Thank you. It's always a pleasure. Thank you so much for inviting us.
Yes, definitely. Thank you. We really appreciate it.